Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I will talk about how I use plugins in my studio for a live band at church where I run live sound. I've been using a lot of mixer over the years, from back in the day that I used analog mixers, and my early digital mixers is from Presonus. It's a 16.0.2 with Firewire, that connect to the PC. And then after that, 2016, when I bought a Presonus StudioLive RM32 for my studio. And in the same years, later on that year, I bought the same mixer for the church. So we actually decided to upgrade the system from an analog mixer to a digital system with an RM32. Now, you got to realize that 2016, when the RM32 was the cutting edge of digital mixer, is one of the best on the market at the time. And I bought it for myself so that I can experiment with it, and then bought one for the church to replace the old analog system. That was a good move because the analog system was old, lack of channel, no processing. We put some outboard gear to help with the compression here and there, but not nearly enough, and it still sounds very crappy. So when we first install the digital mixer on stage, I don't have the console in front of me. I want the rack mount mixer on stage, and I just use a 27-inch window touchscreen to do the mixing. And that's how I like it, because I think the 32-channel console will be a big drawback. Not only the size of it is hard to house in any location, but the knobs, the faders, anything can just fail one day. And it's not flexible. Even though you can use it with another iPad, computer, but you kind of defeat the purpose. You see the software is a lot better nowadays. I use the RM because it has the soft mixer like this one. So to me, it's the pinnacle of mixer, and I never thought about going back to the old console, with knobs and faders. Even though nowadays, there's moving faders with motorized faders. So moving on to the next phase, because at home I was setting up a music studio to record vocal, guitar, piano, making drum tracks, all of that at home. And over the years, I bought a lot of plugins, to record and for enhancing the sound and make a music production out of it. And at the same time at church, I record live bands for multiple groups. When I play live, I just record it with Capture. So Capture is the simple program from Presonus that I use to record 32 channels, and then I bring it home, mix it down, put a lot of plugins into it, fix it, enhance it, every single channel. I would have to remix every channel, automate it, do everything I could to produce the final mix down. That takes a lot of work, but it's also taught me a lot in using these plugins. And then I ended up buying a lot more plugins from Waves, because I think Wave is one of the company that make very good plugins and at an affordable price if you know how to shop for it. So I bought a ton of it, and I wait till it's on sale, and I bought 3 or 4 at the same time. Sometimes you buy 2 and get 1 free. Sometimes you wait long enough, it down to $29 of plugins, and you can buy a few. So at this point, you can see that we're moving from an analog system to a digital mixer. We're very happy at the beginning when we first had the digital mixer. I was blown away. I was absolutely amazed at the quality of the sound, quality of the preamp that produce good quality sound. And when you plug in an instrument, you feel like it's actually sound decent, not crappy like before. But after a while, gradually I see that the quality that I use, with the plugins at home is a lot better than the one at church. And it's understandable because, at church, we only have a digital mixer. We have a gate, compressor, equalizer, limiter on each channel. But these are very simple processor that it does a okay job to make your sound okay. Like if you have a good sounding guitar, then you only need it to stay in the mix. Like you have a good electric guitar playing. He know what to do with his sound. He know his tone. He know his setting well. All you do is to use a little EQ and compression and gate to help him stay in the mix. So that's not a problem. But the problem is when you have a church with different group of people every week bringing their own guitar in, and they have no idea how to set up their guitar. They just plug the guitar in and expect it to sound okay. Then sometimes it takes more than an equalizer and compressor on the mixer to pull it off. So as you can see, I mean, we're moving to using plugins in the church. It's inevitable. We cannot avoid it. One day, you gotta see that the mixer has its limitation, and that's it. That's all you can do. And so we moved to another phase that we use Studio One as a DAW, because I was always using Presonus all of this year, and Studio One is just DAW of choice at the moment, and I learned every in and out of it. So one day it just dawned on me, like, why can't I just use these plugins at home for the sound at church, since we can't produce any better sound with these built-in processor on the mixer. So plug-in is another way to enhance the sound. Since I already have the Presonus mixer, I already have the Studio One DAW, and now it's version 4.6. And it's a no-brainer to go the next step to use these plugins in our setup. So with that, I would just want to let you know that this first video that I do, there will be more videos after this to show you how I set up the mix, like this one, like in this Studio One here, how I set this up, and how I send the signal from the mixer to Studio One, process the signal with the plugins that I have, and then return it, and how I would go about selecting the plugins, okay? Because if you look at the library of plugins that I have like, I don't know, I like scroll down for you to see. This is a lot of plugins from Wave that I can basically do anything I want. It's just a matter of how you use it, okay? Which plugin that work well for that instrument or vocal. For example, you see the vocal channel, I have tons of plugins to do different tasks here. So the first one is probably the one that has the saturation, and then I pass it to the compressor, and then I go to another compressor and go to a de-esser, and then I go to the wave tune, and then vocal rider, and then finally EQ. So all of this, the final product that come out of these things was amazing. Like, you cannot achieve this with just the built-in processor from the mixer, okay? So the RM32 is a mixer that can send the signal through the Firewire. Yes, I still have Firewires 800 to go to the computer, and then from there it hit the plug-in and come back through the Firewire back to the mixer. And so that's how we do it. In the future videos, in the next video, I would go into how to set this thing up, how to set each of this whole section up, how to set the I/O, like this one, in there. And finally, in the following video, I probably talk about how I set up each instrument, like how I do the drums, how I do the guitar. For example, this acoustic guitar actually have 3 channels in Studio One. That I have the middle channel, it's a dry channel, and I have a left channel pan hot left, and the right channel pan hot right, and how I process it and blend it into a stereo channel. This is a stereo bus that returns to the stereo channel on the mixer. So all of that would create a layer sound for the guitar that it sounds beautiful, okay? And, I have all the guitar, electric guitar, bass, Yamaha, keyboard, and vocals, all of that in the future video. But just to recap, over the years, I feel like this is the natural process you're gonna get here. If you have a digital mixer at your church, and you've been running sound for these years, and you don't take advantage of the plugins in a DAW, I don't know if you have Presonus or not, but I imagine if you have a digital mixer, it's always have a connection to a computer, and if you can have a DAW that can receive the signal and pass back to that connection, then you can possibly have the same setup that I have here. I think this mixer is still serving me very well, even though the StudioLive RM32 is not in production anymore. It's actually a discontinued product, but I think I wouldn't replace this mixer anytime with even the newest mixer now from Presonus, because the newest mixer nowadays has a USB 2, I believe, and I don't think USB 2 can do the same job as the Firewire do here in terms of multiple channels send and receive. So unless Presonus come up with a mixer with Thunderbolt, then it's sold. I'm gonna upgrade. But for now, I'm gonna stick with the Firewire. You probably have to invest in a good PC or a Mac. I use a very powerful PC at church, and a powerful PC at home. Even if you can find a PC that has Firewire, you can buy a card, Firewire expansion card, and put it in your PC tower. In my case at home, I use the Intel NUC that I have Thunderbolt 3 ports on it. I have 2 ports of Thunderbolt 3 on it, and I can cascade Thunderbolt 3 into Thunderbolt 2 with a dongle, and Thunderbolt 2 to Firewire with another dongle, and from Firewire to the mixer. Okay, so I have like 2 dongles in a row with a Firewire. So I converted from Thunderbolt 3 to Firewire that way, and it worked really well. Okay, so stay tuned for the future video, and I thank you for watching this one.